Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Well, we're going to adjust to it. I mean, as we get in and we see what's happening, we could move things up or move things back. But we're just going to adjust to whatever happens because, again, we could play in this type of weather on Sunday.
Well, what kind of weather are we going to have in Charlotte? We're talking about snowy conditions?
Snow, ice. Now, I don't know about Sunday. I think it's going to be pushed out, but the preparation here, they're talking about freezing rain, sleet, snow tonight, and maybe more into tomorrow and Saturday morning. So it's going to be nasty. I don't know. Now, the Cardinals, when they're traveling in to Charlotte, that'll be interesting because everything. I know I had a flight out of Charlotte canceled. Everything canceled up there.
Yeah. Well, the weather's already impacting some basketball. So a couple of ACC games are being rescheduled because of the inclement weather. Well, welcome in Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, and I hope you've had a good day. A little chilly out there. Looks like it's clouding up a little bit. What's the forecast for the state over the next couple of days?
The upstate could get some couple of 3 inches of snow maybe in the Greenville area. And they're talking about some ice further down near where we are here in the Midlands. So maybe some snow flurries, but it's not going to be a great weekend in terms of weather.
Good time just to stay home.
Right.
I was thinking about going to Knoxville Saturday. Excuse me. For USC and Tennessee, but I don't think I want to risk that drive up through the mountains with the weather expected to turn a little bit wintry here over the next couple of days. But then next week, back in the 60s. So this roller coaster weather pattern that we have now continues to keep us sick. I can't get over my head cold and drive us crazy. Well, tonight here on Sports Talk, we're not going to dwell on the weather. We've got Clemson basketball coach Brad Brownell coming up at the bottom of the hour. Tigers, of course, despite that loss to Virginia the other night, off to a great start in ACC play. Came back 5. I think if you had asked Brownell in the preseason, would you take 5 out of your first 7 in the ACC on the win side, he'd sign up for that.
Absolutely. They've been the surprise of the ACC at this point in the season. And they lost at Virginia, but they were a 10-point underdog. They were in that game. They played well. Clemson's for real. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They have a team, Blossom Games, playing great basketball. Roper is playing solid. They're getting good play out of their backcourt. Avery Holmes is doing well. They just have different guys that are all filling these roles for them. The bigs, and Noko is doing well inside. Grantham can play. So they have experience, big bodies in there, and they're giving teams fits.
All right, Brad Brownell coming up. We'll hear from Ron Rivera. USC and Clemson get football commitments today. The head coaches in person with the prospects, and they pick up commitments. We'll tell you about that. And, of course, a full recruiting report coming your way as well. Phone number, 800-956-7266. We'll kick things off with your calls in a moment. our phone number 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. On Twitter @sportstalksc, the website sportstalksc.com, and on Facebook, Sports Talk Radio Network. Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary with you tonight. Professor Tom Hayes taking the night off. And LB once again behind the bulletproof glass. Larkin Belton doing a great job for us, producing Sports Talk here on a nightly basis. We come to you from downtown Columbia, Main Street, because we are the Sports Talk show of Main Street, South Carolina, where it's chilly, in other parts it's freezing and nasty. 800-956-7266, the number. If you'd like to chime in, tell us how your weather is and tell us what's on your mind sports-wise. A little bit of a slow period here between the basketball games. Clemson with a week off. The Gamecocks with a few days off before getting ready to go to Tennessee on Saturday to see if they can go back-to-back on the road in the SEC. K-Mac, if they can do that, we talk about Clemson. My goodness, nobody thought the Gamecocks would be 17-1 at this point with only one league defeat and just having a great season and no reason not to think they won't go into Tennessee and do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the way they were playing, and they stole one earlier this week, let's face it. That was a game that they didn't deserve to win, but they found a way to win that game on the road. And Tennessee is a winnable game. They took the gas against Vanderbilt last night. Certainly a winnable game for South Carolina. And they have some tough games down the stretch, but they are really bolstering their resume. And as we pointed out last night, the latest projections from Jerry Palm, who's pretty good at such things, has South Carolina as a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Not just in, but really in.
Solidly in.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you know what? If they continue to win, I mean, they can improve that standing as they go on through the weeks. But right now, you know, Frank Martin just wants to do the old one game at a time deal. Now, tonight in the SEC, we've got Kentucky at Arkansas. That'll be a 7:00 tip. Kentucky, not their normal selves. And Arkansas has not had a good year either to this point. Both are behind South Carolina in the standings. The Gamecocks knocking on the door of first place in the SEC at this particular time. So one game in the SEC tonight is Kentucky at Arkansas. In the ACC tonight, it's let's see, nothing. Yeah. No ACC games.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah, quiet on the ACC front tonight. As far as games around the state tonight, we'll update you on that. The Cougars of Charleston, they're playing at Towson tonight. The Duke women play at Clemson. The Citadel is at Western Carolina. And USC Upstate is home to North Florida. So that's the in-state basketball rundown tonight. Oh, and the USC women.
Yeah, they're at Auburn.
Play at Auburn tonight. They're on the road. All right, 800-956-7266, the number. If you want to join in on the program here on the Sports Talk, lines are open, and we can get you right on. A couple of other things to talk about. Well, recruiting-wise, a good day for South Carolina and Clemson. The Gamecocks go into Atlanta. They get a tight end, Robert Tucker. You know, Will Muschamp, bless his little Gamecock heart, he loves to put that little Spurs up thing on Twitter, signifying that something has happened, mostly usually a commitment, but it could be referring to a coaching hire. He's got one more spot to fill. So he puts it out this morning, the Spurs up. And, of course, those of us who are following this sort of stuff, we start checking all the contacts and checking players. Did you commit? Did you commit? Did you commit? And finally, J.C. Sherbert of 24/7 Sports landed on Robert Tucker from Atlanta. Tight end, also can play some linebacker. He says he'll be a tight end at South Carolina. Then this afternoon, Dabo Swinney was in Vestavia Hills, Alabama, a suburb of Birmingham. He offered and took a commitment from safety Nolan Turner. He's 6'2", 192, had 63 tackles and 5 interceptions this year. So commitments for both USC and Clemson. Recruiting weekend coming up with some visits. We'll go through all that for you as well when we get to the recruiting portion of the program. Want to read you this, and then we'll get to your phone calls. From Steve Spurrier. He was at the coaches convention in San Antonio last week reflecting on his career. He gave an hour-long speech to the coaches. Somebody was there, I guess, taking notes. His message was to know your expiration date. He told the coaches he realized at halftime of the UCF game in week 4 that his time had expired when USC was trailing 15-8. Here's what he allegedly said. These are in quotes. We were 1-2. Central Florida was coming into Williams-Brice Stadium, and I thought for sure we were going to get it going. We're behind at halftime. Central Florida went 0-12, as you know. I get in at halftime, look in the mirror at myself, and said, I don't think I can coach anymore. I'm not doing a very good job. Surely we're better than this. We did come back to win that game, and that Sunday I called our AD and said, listen, I don't think I've got it anymore. Another coach might be better running our team, a younger coach with more energy and passion. End of the quote. Of course, he coached for 2 more weeks, both losses, then stepped down. Spurrier said he didn't realize his expiration date. Quoting him again, as players and coaches, we all have expiration dates. We all have one. Some guys are smart enough to know what it is. Some of us are not smart enough. I think I should have expired mine at the end of 2014. We just won our 4th straight bowl game. I really thought we had enough for 2015. We had some returning players, a new defensive coach, some junior college kids. We got off to a rough start, and it stayed pretty rough, end quote. Spurrier doesn't like the way things ended, but he doesn't regret stepping down mid-season and giving Sean Elliott a chance as the interim head coach. His message to the coaches was to know when to get out. Quote, I hate going out that way. I don't recommend it. If you're a coach in your late 60s or 70s, try to pick a good moment. I didn't do that. I wasn't smart enough to do that. I thought stepping down was the best thing to do, and even our local media said the team played better after I left. Steve Spurrier.
He's still torn up about that. I mean, the guy is really, really struggling with how the coach ended.
Well, I think the perception is what's bothering him.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to be
exactly.
viewed as a quitter.
Yeah, well, he went out not on top. I mean, he had a chance to go out after the Miami game, and he knows that. He could have gone out of that bowl game and gone out a winner and said, we did pretty well. We accomplished some things, but he thought they had another run in him. He was just blind by their whatever.
I think some people talked him into staying.
I definitely.
Yeah. Some people talked him into staying.
No doubt.
And okay, let's jump to the phones as we go first to Ed in Charleston. All right, Ed, good evening. Welcome into Sports Talk. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was wondering about this new pro draft rules and how that's going to work. And maybe the Anderson twins from Kentucky could come back to college.
Okay. Clarify for me. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about. You talking about new NBA draft rules?
Yeah, where they can declare for the pros, and then if they and then go back to school.
Yeah, that's been in place for a while, has it not?
No, I didn't think so. I thought that was new this year, but I never played pro ball, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know that they tweaked that thing.
I thought once they declared, then they, went to the what do you call that? The demonstration show or whatever,
Like a combine.
Where they go up there.
Yeah, but I thought now they might have just changed. In fact, I do think they changed it, the date when you can declare. But I thought if you didn't hire an agent, you could go work out and kind of get a draft grade and get a better idea and then return to school. They tweak that thing in basketball quite often. So they might have moved it again. We'll have to look into that here during the break.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find some data on that. Thank you for the phone call. More calls coming up. Okay, I found the information that Ed was talking about, and that's why I didn't really. It's a small thing related to early entry and the NBA draft, but the bottom line is what they've changed is the deadline period for withdrawing from the draft. If you're an underclassman, you can put your name in, and you can go to the combines and you can work out for teams, etc. And then if you get the feeling you're not going to be drafted, or you're not going to be drafted high enough to make it worth your while, you can withdraw from the draft. That deadline is now in late May, specifically 10 days after the final day of the NBA draft combine. So that's the subtle change. The change, previously it was a different deadline. It was an earlier deadline. Now it's a later deadline. But I think it's a good rule. I think it gives that's some good flexibility that a player can have now. He can see firsthand, much like the NFL guys, they get these grades from NFL teams that will tell them, okay, this is what you're projected at. Then they can make their decision. Have a chance to do the same thing. I think that's good. 800-956-7266. We go to William over in the Ace Basin. William, how are you? Welcome into Sports Talk.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call. 52 degrees down here, but we're looking at rain in the southeastern part of the state tomorrow. No frozen stuff, thank goodness.
Good duck hunting weather.
Yeah, it is if you're a duck hunter.
Yes.
Not, I'm let's see, a Gamecock fan for about 60 years now.
Okay.
And it's a great time to be a fan. Things are going well for the school and athletics. Really excited for the basketball team and the way that they've come on. I know they struggle a little bit. They struggle against Ole Miss, but hey, that's an SEC game on the road. They weren't hitting their free throws well, and they struggled, but they managed to grow up in that game, and they came 11 down and took the game. You know, say what you want to say they stole it or whatever, but they did what they had to do, and to me, that's a sign of maturity. I really admired the way that Thornwell sacrificed himself offensively to play defense, and they won with him scoring 3-4 points.
Yeah, it was 1 of 15 from the floor, but he had 6 rebounds and about 4 or 5 assists, and as you mentioned, he had to play some tough defense on Moody. So. The thing I liked about it, as we talked about last night, and your point is well taken, coming from behind double digits on the road, not easy against a good team. I like the way their upperclassmen, their seniors, took over the game, and they all played well. They all scored well. You got to have that. You got to have that senior leadership that gets you through a conference slate.
Exactly. And the younger guys are only going to get better as the season progresses, I believe. I really don't believe we've seen this team play its best yet. I believe their best is still to come, and that's really something to look forward to because there's some tough games coming up. We're going to have to play better and play our best game.
You're right. You're exactly right. And I think Frank Martin would like to hear exactly what you're saying. If the best is yet to come, that sounds good for USC. Yeah. Back in a moment. And we're back, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Good to have you along with us on this Thursday night. More calls coming up, plus recruiting and Panthers coach Ron Rivera a little bit later on in the program as we get you ready for the championship games this week in the NFC and the AFC. Right now, though, you know what? We are a hot basketball state with the Tigers and the Gamecocks and others. But when the Tigers and Gamecocks are doing well in basketball, everybody sits up and takes notice. And Clemson coach Brad Brownell joining us here in the midst of, in terms of games, an off week, since you don't play again until next Wednesday. But I know it's been nothing but hard work for you guys this week. First of all, congratulations on the 5-2 league start. What have you guys been doing since the Virginia game, since you don't play again until Wednesday night?
Well, we took some days off here. We actually doing some recruiting and gave our guys a couple of days. We'd gone a bunch of days in a row with I think it was 4 games in like 9 days, and obviously a bunch of top 25 teams. So we've been going at it pretty hard, especially for us. Really proud of the way the guys have played and off to a great start in the league. Lost a tough one the other night at Virginia, but looking forward to last 6 weeks of the season.
Would you have signed up for 5-2 in league play at the beginning of the year?
Oh, I probably would have. We don't, you don't really look at it like that as a coach. I don't think too often. I think you just kind of try to get your team to play as well as they can and hopefully put them in a position to have a chance to win games. But, our guys have really responded. We get off to a little bit of a slow start this year. Probably have coached a little better, made a couple of small adjustments that have helped us, I think. And then our guys just getting a couple wins has given them a lot of confidence. And certainly we've had some great crowds here. The last 3 or 4 home games have been really good. That's helped us give us a little bit of a bigger boost. And as a result, kind of all culminates in just a little bit better basketball and more confidence for our team.
A lot of guys have obviously stepped up during this run, but Jerron Blossom game, what he's done recently, and I know he's a guy that's overcome a lot with injuries, the knee injuries. He really seems to be playing at a level that he hasn't seen before.
No, he has, and we really thought that this would be a kind of a breakout year for him. He had a very good year last year as a sophomore, and we thought much like KJ made a breakout season where he would have a chance to have a big score for us. It's ironic. It's the first time in my 6 years as a Clemson head coach that I've had turning score come back. And so it was nice to kind of have a guy that we thought would be able to come back and really score the basketball. He's really improved his 3-point shooting this year and free throw shooting. And as a result, he's having to, he's moving around the court a lot differently. We're putting him in different positions on the court, making some bigger guys chase him around a little bit. He's still a good athlete where he can post up smaller guys and get the occasional offensive rebound. So he's playing very well, and hopefully that will continue.
Tell you what now, after losing to South Carolina, especially the way you guys trailed big in that game, I know you came back to make it a close finish, and then you had a terrible game at Georgia, North Carolina, and played respectable. But I think at that point, a lot of people might have been saying, it's just not going to be a good year for Clemson basketball. And of course, Tiger fans were focused on football too. Maybe they weren't aware of the quiet turnaround you were making as you were playing that second half at South Carolina and then up at Chapel Hill. Have you ever had a team just sort of flip the switch the way this one did and get so hot in league play?
Well, actually, I have. I had a team at Wright State. We played some very difficult games early in the year and maybe lost a game or two that we had decent chances to win. We started the year 0-6, and I remember at the time wondering if we were going to win a game, and it was hard. But we stuck with it. We had a guy who was injured a little bit come back and start playing and play well, and we ended up winning 20 games with that team and had a remarkable season, great turnaround, and we're optimistic that we can do the same here. I think we've, Jerron wasn't 100% healthy in some of those games that we lost in the non-conference, the Georgia game. He was really not in very good shape and probably should have played. And so we had some things going against us. I think we just have done a better job coaching this team here the longer we've been with them. And the guard play, just Jordan and Avery really adjusting and figuring out how to use each other and play well together has really improved. And I think it's, again, then just winning a couple games has given us a lot of confidence. But still a long way to go. And you know, our fan base certainly had a lot to be excited about. We had an unbelievable year with football, and really proud of those guys, and playing for the national championship, winning the ACC title, winning the Orange Bowl. There's a lot to be proud of, a lot of excitement here in Clemson, and certainly we're hoping that enthusiasm carries over with our team here in the month of February.
No, sure. And you mentioned Avery Holmes. Did you expect him to be a double-digit scorer like he's turned out to be?
Well, we really thought he could be. Yeah, we, you know, he's a guy that can shoot the ball. He's in a little bit of a cold streak here the last couple of games, and that's hurt us a little bit at Virginia. He didn't make any threes, but we knew he's a three-point shooter. He's a guy that could make shots and kind of run your team, and a tough guy that would be physical defensively and really have a strong will to win. And then we hoped that, you know, that he would shoot the ball well. He's the guy that shot almost 40% or 40% from three in his years at San Francisco. So we thought he would be a guy that would be a very capable scorer, somewhere around that 9 or 10 points a game average. And you know, he's been a guy that has really helped provide toughness, and he's gotten more comfortable too. And I think that's helped us as well, as his, you know, it's not always scoring, but just him being comfortable out on the court with Jordan, sharing the ball with Jordan. I think that's something that's improved those two guys playing together.
So who do you need to step up and play a lot better here as we kind of head towards the second half of the season to help you get to that next level?
Well, I think we just gotta have consistency. I mean, the one thing is, I do think we have several guys that can score this year, and that's one of our differences. We're a little bit better offensively, have a little more firepower. Probably not quite as good defensively as we've been the last couple of years, just not quite as big. You know, I think Landry Noko and Dante Grantham have to continue to play well and maybe assert themselves offensively in the way that they can help this team with double figures on a regular basis. Landry just to continue to establish an inside game for us. And Dante is just a guy who we think can continue to get better. He's had some very good games, shot the ball well, but like to see aggressive and maybe even take another step forward here down the stretch.
You're 4-0 in conference play at the Well. If you go undefeated in conference play in your home away from home, will you petition to play your conference games there next year?
No, I don't think so. We're building a pretty nice facility down here in Clemson. It's well over $60 million, and looking forward to that being done. It's going to be a great environment. It's really going to give us a boost and a shot in the arm we kind of need here with basketball. I think it's going to be an exciting arena, and we're going to look forward to having those folks come back to Clemson. But you never know. We certainly might go back to the Well here in the future and play some more games. They've been great to us there and very hospitable, and we've had some terrific turnouts, like 12-5 the other night, I think, for our Miami game.
Yeah. Well, you got Pittsburgh coming up. Very good. And your early scouting report on them, what? Physical as always?
Yeah, very physical team, excellent rebounding, good scoring at the 3 and the 4 spot with Jamel Artis and Young inside. I mean, they just have very good balance, very tough-minded group, some older players, a lot of juniors and seniors. So team that's been in and out of the top 25 a lot, like several teams in our league. And, you know, we'll have to play a good physical game defensively, rebound the ball, and make some threes to beat them.
Coach, we thank you as always. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Clemson basketball coach Brad Brownell. And, the Tigers back home 7 o'clock Wednesday night against Pittsburgh, K-Mac. That should be a humdinger of a game.
Yeah. I mean, if they can hold serve at home and just win a few more games, we're going to have them on the tournament bubble before long.
Well, they're looking at they got 5 more home games in league play, or period. They have 5 more home games, and they have 6 road games. That's their breakdown the rest of the way. Now, after Pittsburgh, a 3-game road trip, Florida State, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech. I mean, you know, in basketball, especially the way everybody is sort of evened out here, it's hard to look at that and say, okay, they can win this game, they can win that game. But those are 3 games right there where you would say, if Clemson beats Pittsburgh and plays the way they can play, those are 3 games you would say going on the road, they could take 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Do that, beat Pittsburgh. Then you've got 3 in a row at home, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Boston College. Win all 3 or take 2 out of 3, then you're looking at a terrific ACC record in a certain spot in the NCAA tournament, I would think. Okay, we will come back with recruiting in a moment. Once again, we thank Clemson coach Brad Brownell for being with us here tonight on Sports Talk. Now to recruiting. Clemson commitment today from Nolan Turner, safety, 6'2", 190, Vestavia Hills, Alabama. Said he was speechless when Sweeney offered him. Didn't know what to say, but it's a great day, he said. 63 tackles, 5 interceptions. Clemson has known about him for some time, having offered him a walk-on opportunity as far back as his junior season. But Sweeney, impressed by what he saw of Turner, took the offer to the next level. Sweeney said he likes his toughness, his work ethic. He plays smart. He said he knows defense well. He gets everybody in the right position. He has a good instinct for the ball. He just makes plays. Turner said he was also offered by UAB, and Alabama offered him a walk-on opportunity. Plus, he drew interest from Troy, Sanford, and West Florida. He gives Clemson 19 scholarship newcomers for their 2016 roster. He'll make his official to Clemson this weekend. This is my new way now of identifying commitment numbers so that there's no confusion, because some enroll early and people are confused by that. I'm just going to give you the number of newcomers that will be joining the team on scholarship in the fall. That makes it simple for everybody. Now, 19 are coming in at this point at Clemson. Now, Will Muschamp and Brian McClendon, they were in Atlanta today at the Best Academy, B period, E period, S period, T period. And they dropped in on tight end Robert Tucker, and he committed after meeting with the two. 6'3", 240, tight end. And he said it means a lot. It was a blessing to commit to an SEC team. I'm very excited to play for Coach Muschamp. Coach Muschamp and Coach McClendon came by, and I committed today, end quote. He's a versatile player. He can play linebacker as well, but he says the Gamecocks want him on offense, and he can play all over, he said, slot, H-back, and put his hand in the dirt too. He visited Tulane last weekend. He'll visit USC this weekend. Some other offers from Minnesota, UCF, and Marshall. That's now 22 new scholarship players on the roster for 2016 for USC. Long-running relationship between USC defensive line coach Lance Thompson and defensive lineman Karamo Diabate of Philadelphia has paid off in the form of an official visit. Diabate will visit USC Sunday through Tuesday after first visiting Michigan State Friday through Sunday. He was at Temple last weekend. Thompson visited Diabate on Wednesday, and the two firmed up the visit during the meeting. He said that Thompson's been recruiting him for a long time, going back to Auburn. And he said just getting down there and seeing the place, that's all he wants to see at South Carolina. This will be Thompson's second chance to host Diabate on an official visit. He visited Auburn while Thompson was there back on December the 12th, and that's kind of unusual occurrence to have the same guy make two official visits to different schools. This will be his first visit to USC, and he said he has nothing in particular that he wants to see. He has no other officials planned. He's a former Penn State commitment. He also has an offer from Ohio State, and he's been considering the Buckeyes. And he said he has not narrowed his lists at this point from those 5 schools highest on his list: USC, Penn State, Michigan State, Temple, and Ohio State. Receiver Randricus Davis of Atlanta has been committed to Georgia since last summer, but that commitment is not expected to last much longer. The Dogs aren't showing much interest since the coaching change, and the two guys who worked to get him to Georgia, to get him to commit, are elsewhere. Mark Ricks at Miami, Brian McClendon's at USC, and they're actively recruiting him for their new schools. He'll visit Miami this weekend, scheduled for USC on the 29th. Right now, he favors Miami. He says he has a close relationship with BMAC at Carolina, but Miami is leading, he said, mainly because of Coach Richt, plus the things he said he'll be able to do there on and off the field. I think he kind of likes the idea of that Miami nightlife. But take him to 5 points, that compares with Miami, doesn't it?
South Beach, 5 points, very similar.
Yeah. Anyway, he said outside of communicating with his Georgia recruiter on Twitter, not much going on with the Bulldogs. He's not even sure if Georgia's coming in to visit him. He has not said an official at Athens, and he's not sure when he'll make his final decision. Receiver Corey Banks of Tyrone, Georgia, is a North Carolina commitment. He made his official at Chapel Hill last weekend. Going to Alabama this weekend, USC January 29th. Last night, Muschamp made his in-home with McClendon. Banks says he has a very high interest in USC, a good relationship with McClendon, building one with Muschamp. He says he has very high interest. He said he knows they need more explosive guys that can separate, and I fit the role. He said his commitment to the Tar Heels still about the same, 100%. However, he does want to take all of his official visits before making a final decision. All right, we got more coming up for you here on Sports Talk, recruiting-wise, in just a moment. Don't go away. Okay, let's wrap up the recruiting for tonight. Keeping a watch on Rashawn Gary out of New Jersey, deciding tonight on his last official between Clemson and Alabama, which will be on the 29th. Of course, that will be crucial for those two teams in their efforts to land him. Don't know which one he'll pick. He's going to Michigan unofficially this weekend because he's got buddies there. He has family in Anderson, and that could be big from a Clemson standpoint. Clemson was up there with Thursday, Tuesday. I think they were up there, Tuesday or Wednesday. Might have been yesterday. We talked to his mom. Anyway, the Tigers hoping to get that last official. Clemson today offered 2017 defensive back A.J. Terrell from Atlanta. USC's also offered him. At Fort Dorchester this week, a lot of coaches been in to see their prospects. We're focusing on offensive lineman John Simpson. Sean Elliott from USC was in Tuesday. Clemson's Tony Elliott and Robbie Caldwell were there yesterday. This according to Coach Steve LaPrade. He said USC, LSU, and Florida all scheduled to be in today. Now, what I couldn't get clarification from him on, I'll try to get it in the second hour, is USC getting that in-home visit tonight because right now they're not down for an official. They were hoping to get an in-home with the family. We got to see if that's happening. The two scheduled visits, according to Coach LaPrade, Clemson this weekend, Alabama on the 29th, they remain as scheduled at this point. USC today offered 2017 receiver Leroy Henley of Fort Lauderdale. He's got 28 offers now. The Citadel today offered Chapin quarterback Logan Bailey. Smart move. He visited Limestone last week, going to Newberry this weekend. Citadel the 29th. And Hank Tui Pelotu of Nation Ford visited this week by NC State. That's been the only recruiter to come in to see him this week. He takes off for BYU, his official visit this weekend. He remains committed to the Cougars. He's been to USC officially. Defensive back Daniel Thomas of Montgomery, Alabama is going to North Carolina this weekend. Originally had Maryland down for that date. Changed it to North Carolina. Tar Heel defensive coordinator Gene Chizik was in the home last night. He was at USC last weekend, Thomas, not Chizik, and he'll visit Clemson on the 29th. Clemson recruiter Mike Reed in earlier this week. And USC recruiter Brian McClendon was in St. Petersburg to visit with tight end Pro Wells. That was yesterday. And also Wednesday, USC offered 2017 linebacker Jaden Hunter from Atlanta. Big timer. Clemson's already offered him. And offensive lineman Matthew Ryan of New Orleans, 2016 lineman, taking an official at Clemson this weekend. This is Rob Ryan's son and the cousin of Clemson holder, Seth Ryan. I think his option at Clemson is of a walk-on variety if he wants to go there. He has an offer from Akron. He's big, though. He's 315 pounds, so he's a big old boy. All right, that'll do it. Top of the hour break. We'll be back.
Live from Columbia. This is on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. You thought I was finished with recruiting. I asked my friend, who stole that from me?
Yeah, Lee Corso definitely stole that from you.
Yeah,
Copyright infringement on his part.
Much older than me and a nice guy. I wanted to go over the official visits for this weekend for USC and Clemson that we have scheduled. Keep in mind, these lists are always subject to change. These are not official. This is from what we get from the players, what we see reported, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what we have for South Carolina as of right now for this weekend. Athlete Stephen Davis Jr. from Dutch Fork, defensive end Alan Cater, Kennesaw, Georgia, defensive lineman DeAndre Christmas Giles from New Orleans, committed defensive lineman Darius Whitfield from Mobile, quarterback athlete Yafari Wirtz from Newberry, running back Tyron Jones, Hutchinson Junior College in Kansas, tight end Robert Tucker, commitment from Atlanta, receiver Javon Wims from Hines Junior College in Mississippi, committed receiver Chavis Dawkins from Burns, and committed receiver DeAndre Champagne from Fort Dorchester.
Off the top.
Yeah, that'll be fun with him. He scores a touchdown. That'll be fun. The Clemson visit list, unofficial, that we have. Defensive back Romeo Finley, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Offensive lineman John Simpson from Fort Dorchester. That's the big one. Committed defensive back Nolan Turner, Vestavia Hills, Alabama. And walk-on candidate offensive lineman Matthew Ryan, New Orleans. I'm sure the Tigers will roll out the proverbial red carpet, in their case, orange carpet for John Simpson. That's a big target for them. And we'll see if he sticks with his plans to go to Alabama next week, or if maybe South Carolina can get in there and get him to come their way. All right, back to the phones we go. Bob in KC, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
Hello, Phil. Hello, K-Mac. How you doing?
Bob, we're doing fine, sir.
It's the Dragon from KC.
Yes.
As you know, I cite my sources, attkyahoo.net. Muschamp had said something. I don't know if you cracked open your emails about shortcomings or whatever. Did you happen to crack that open before you came on the air?
Yeah.
6:05?
Yeah, got to look at that. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to see you see that because he's a defensive-minded coach. I don't know, offensive-minded like Spurrier. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention who doesn't have time to, with all the happenings with the stock market and all this financial mess we're in right now, the presidential election in November, whether being able to look around on what Muschamp's been saying about shortcomings or whatever.
All right. Well, I think that he's been talking up more positives, I think.
Muschamp has a hat that he's wearing. Make the Gamecocks great again.
Is that that should be his mantra. Thank you, Dragon. Back in a moment. Okay, we're back. 800-956-7266. Don't let the dragon scare you away. 800-956-7266, the number. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com, on Twitter at the Sports Talk SC. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll get the latest from Panthers coach Ron Rivera on preparations for the NFC Championship game against the Cardinals. The good news is Jared Allen was running around in practice this week. You know, he had broken foot, they said, coming out of the game last week, but he's been practicing, so maybe he'll be able to go. That certainly has got to be a bonus for them. A couple of quick things here, checking on Rashad Gary and his decision between Clemson and Alabama for that 5th official visit, and his mother tells us still no decision. He has not decided yet. So that continues. Maybe something will come out tonight. Austin Scott, the quarterback from Spartan High, a guy that passed for over 5,000 yards this year. He's one of the top passers in the country. He was offered by Southern Miss. That's a good offer for him. That's an up-and-coming program. They had a good year this year, got a new coaching staff down there. They like to throw it a lot. That might be a good fit for him. However, he's visited Elon. He's going to Eastern Kentucky this weekend, and then to USM on the 29th. But that's a good offer for him. 800-956-7266 is our number. I wanted to touch on the Joe Lunardi basketball bracketology and his RPI going into this weekend, and he's got South Carolina right now at number 22, just like Jerry Palm had South Carolina at number 22. The Gamecocks, some of the numbers, he has a lot of numbers in his RPI. The overall strength of schedule for the Gamecocks, 202. Non-conference strength of schedule is 290. Now, if they keep on winning, that's not going to be a factor. But if they hit a slide and it gets a little tight for him, that's one thing the committee will look at. Non-conference strength of schedule, 290. They're hurt a little bit by having a Division II game on their schedule, Francis Marion. Again, if you're a power team and you're going to make the NCAA tournament easily, that's not a big deal. But if you're just going to slide in there, that could become a problem for you. But right now, USC is looking very good at number 22 by Joe Lunardi. As far as his bracketology, we told you last night, Jerry Palm had the Gamecocks number 5 as a number 5 seed, playing VCU in Providence. Joe Lunardi has the Gamecocks at a number 7 seed. Number 7 seed playing Colorado in Des Moines, Iowa, with the winner to play Iowa or Montana in the second round in Des Moines. That would not be easy if you got by Colorado to play Iowa in Des Moines. I mean, come on, that's practically a home game for them. His number 4 1 seeds are Oklahoma, Kansas, Villanova, and North Carolina. He's got the Pac-12 with 8 teams in. The Big 12 was 7. The ACC was 7. The SEC with only 4. And let's see what he's got here. His first 4 out, Clemson, LSU, Vanderbilt, St. Joseph's. So got the Tigers right there on the bubble. But there's a lot of games to be played to get all this figured out. But it's nice to follow. It's nice to have a reason. Usually we're not paying any attention to this stuff because South Carolina and Clemson haven't been in the conversation. Then at the end of the year, a Wofford or a Coastal, will earn their way in there. Yeah. And
then the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of now, once again, we get a chance to kind of pay attention.
Yeah, it's partying like it's 1997.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're Clemson, when did they last go?
97 was the last time South Carolina and Clemson were both in there together.
Oh, is that right? Was it 97? Yeah. But Clemson went, in Brownell's?
Yeah, they went
his
first year. Yeah, they went his first year, and they made it. They won the little play-in round and went down to Tampa and lost to West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I recall they had to play Tuesday night, the late game in Dayton, and they played an early game on Thursday in Tampa. Kind of got jobbed a little bit.
That's tough. But they'll take it. Getting in the tournament.
Yeah, you'd rather get jobbed in the tournament than be in the NIT, certainly.
All right, back to the phones we go. And it is Andy here in Columbia listening to us on The Point. Hi, Andy. Welcome into Sports Talk.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're great, sir. How are you?
All right. I wanted to call the other day, but I didn't get a chance. You had the new Citadel coach on,
Yes.
and I didn't get to hear it all, but I like hearing about it because and I started thinking about recruiting with the Citadel. Being a military college. I know you don't have to go in the military afterwards, but it just got me thinking how hard it would be. Because you have to come into that mindset. I guess they have to go through everything, dress out and do the whole military process that one would do as a cadet. And
Well, I think that they give the athletes, they give them a little bit of a break in some of those things. I can't speak from firsthand knowledge exactly what they do. Maybe somebody who's there and involved can tell us a little better than I can. But I think, they give the football players, the basketball players, baseball players, and others a little bit of a break because of their commitment to their sports. And look, they want to be competitive as well. You heard Jim Center say yesterday at the introductory press conference that he believes now that they're in position to compete for the FCS championship. Well, then you better be able to do a heck of a lot more than just carry a gun and march in a square. So I think they've made some rules and changed some things to allow those athletes to be able to take care of their sports.
Yeah, it just seems like a totally unique situation, and just made you think. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And they're not the only place to do that. I mean, I wonder, Navy with the great program they have. I wonder if they, the guys who are on the military side of things there at the Navy, I wonder if they are cut a little slack there on the football team because of the commitment they have to make to football to play at their level. Let's face it. I mean, the commitment is great in football to play at the championship level. The time consumption is huge.
Yeah, I would bet they're not granted any leeway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the kids at Harvard are granted any leeway to that the other students aren't granted. Now, maybe the professors let them. Obviously, they're going to have to travel and miss classes, but I'm sure they're required to do everything academically that everybody else is. And in Navy, I'm sure they have to do all their other obligations. Army, Navy, all that's what makes those schools so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The Air Force Academy and Army and Navy, that they have to do all of their military obligations and then do the football obligations on top of that, which is so much.
Yeah,
they're a different breed.
Absolutely. Especially you watched what the Citadel did this year, what Navy has done over the years. And the one thing that those two programs have in common, of course, is they run an uncommon offense. And that gives them a chance, because Keenan Reynolds is probably as good an athlete at quarterback as anybody had in the country the last couple of years. And the Citadel was good when Mike Houston came in. Now, the cupboard wasn't bare. Coach Higgins left behind some good players, and he had started the transition. He had moved them from I guess he was running the spread. He was a quarterback coach in the NFL before he came to the Citadel, so he was running a contemporary offense, and he transitioned them to the triple option. And then Coach Houston had taken the triple option to another level in Division II at Lenoir-Rhyne with their running game. So the pieces were in place when he got there, and they just they built on it in a hurry and just turned the Citadel around in a big way. And now we'll see if Coach Tom can keep it going. The good thing, as he pointed out last night, the good thing is they've got a lot of integral parts returning on the offensive side. Got to replace some guys on defense, but offensively, quarterback, running backs, those kind of folks, they return in big numbers. So that will help them get off to a good start, he hopes, under him. All right, 800-956-7266 is our phone number. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter @sportstalksc. Back with more in a moment. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network here on a chilly Thursday night. Hopefully, we're warming you up with some red-hot sports conversation. And whether you are a Clemson Tiger or you are a Carolina Gamecock, all South Carolina sports fans can agree on Founders Federal Credit Union with a convenient location on USC's campus and a Clemson office coming soon. Founders is a sure fan favorite. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com to see if you qualify for membership. I was looking for a story. I can't find it. It was in USA Today. It was a kind of a commentary, a follow-up on what Randall L. Was it Antoine Randall L. said the other day, that if he could do it over again, he would not have played football. He would have played baseball, but his family wanted him to go to school. So he played football. And he was referring to, of course, the long-term effect of football on one's body and how he has trouble walking down steps sometimes, and he's starting to feel his memory slip, et cetera, et cetera. And this article was about how the NFL, with its rules, it's unfair. Basically saying, if I understood it properly, that a football player, when he's ready, coming out of high school, should be allowed to go into the NFL and play. That he goes to college and he comes out of college, he's got to go for 3 years at least, 4 if you're not good enough to come out after 3. And then your shelf life in the NFL, 4 or 5 years. And then you're, as this story put it, you're dealing with lifetime of pain. You know, they kind of paint a very dark picture of football in the NFL. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what good it's going to do to have 18-year-old kids coming out of high school going straight to the NFL. They're not ready. Physically, they're not ready. There are not a lot of 18-year-olds that are physically ready to compete on the professional level in any major sport. Basketball, baseball, those guys are very seldom ready to contribute year one. Your LeBron James types aside. How many guys would have been ready to go to the NFL? I know Ellis Johnson said Jadeveon Clowney probably could have chased around the ball some in the NFL. Now, Leonard Fournette, some of these running backs, maybe. But, again, you're going against grown men in the NFL. I think a better thing to continue to focus on safety, take care of players after their careers are over, like Antoine Randall, who put in like 10 years in the league. He had a long career. Make sure those guys are taken care of. I think the risk are more now than before. I know some of those guys in the 80s didn't feel like they knew what they were getting into. They were told, okay, you can play, you're good, a day after getting a concussion. So they're making progress. It's still a dangerous sport.
This story recommended that they adopt rugby rules. In rugby, apparently you tackle with your arms and shoulders, and you take the person you're tackling down, instead of in football where you drive somebody into the ground, with a lot of force. This was more stick your face on somebody, wrap them up, and take them down. They say that's a much safer way to tackle somebody than the way they do in football. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, 800-956-7266. Another recruiting note to pass along to you. USC no longer recruiting Jordan Johnson, big offensive lineman from Jacksonville, 6'3", 275. They had been recruiting him since the previous staff, and the new staff picked up on him. But apparently they have either met their quota at offensive lineman or going some other direction. He was looking at visiting USC this weekend and then going to Virginia Tech on Sunday. He's been to UCF. He's also got Georgia Southern and Georgia Tech on his visitation list. So Jordan Johnson comes off the board with the Gamecocks. 800-956-7266. Let's turn our attention to the Panthers. And before we hear from Ron Rivera, who's this guy that we're going to be hearing from?
Oh, the Panther guy. Yeah, that did the song.
Got a song for you.
Yeah, Ked Woodley, this guy. And the song is called Dominate the Foe. This is big time stuff. I remember that name. This guy is going to be huge in the hip hop rap
scene. Is K-E-D? K-E-D.
Yeah. I mean,
last name is what?
His other song in 2013 was big, Coffee Lover. That was a big one.
Coffee what?
Lover. L-O-V-A.
Coffee Lover.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty big stuff. But this one, they just need to play this on a loop at Bank of America Stadium Sunday, and the Panthers are guaranteed to beat the Cardinals.
Ked Woodley. Let's take a listen.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football. Our offense and defense so intense. Your team will be the losers if you got a lick of sense. You dig the NFL, my lyrics and my rhymes. You eat up what I'm saying, spit and fly hip-hop lines. Lightning fast, big black cats, Panthers kicking ass. Yo, we're the TD. Oh, I feel like that W dominate the foe. Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football. When running, passing, or pitching the ball, we got blazing, mesmerizing plays, y'all. Wanna holler at your top cats who cheer and turn us on. Give me them digits, I'll call you on my phone. Lightning fast, big black cats, Panthers kicking ass. Yo, with a TD or a field goal, gonna get that W, dominate the foe. We Panthers keep pounding, paid lots of dough. Soon to be our victory at the Super Bowl. Let's go, let's go.
Unbelievably talented.
Mick Mixon had better look out. That play-by-play job could be in jeopardy when people hear this.
The Panther growl is what makes that.
Yeah. That's him, right? Yeah. That's not some sound
The only
effects.
thing that's not him is whatever boombox he has playing the beats.
That's pretty good. Pretty good Panther growl there. Can you do that, K-Man?
No, I cannot. Yeah. No, I cannot.
LB, can you do a Panther growl like that? I didn't think so.
Never.
That's a special talent. Special talent. Well, here is the the big Panther himself, Coach Ron Rivera. Boy, I tell you what, it wasn't that long ago people were wondering how much longer he was going to be the coach. Remember that? Everybody ready to run him out of town. Just shows you what winning will do. Makes everybody like you more. That's amazing, isn't it? Win a little bit, you're a smarter coach. You look better, you smell better. You're smarter. Everything is better when you're winning. The cheerleaders are prettier. The songs like the one we just heard make more sense. Win Grammys, etc. Right? When you're 16 and what are they? 15-1? Not bad. Anyway, they're getting ready for the Cardinals NFC Championship. They are a step away from the 50. How that's the one. If you're not in Super Bowl 1, 50 is a nice one.
No Roman numerals for this one. Just a big 5-0. Yeah. It's weird seeing that.
Yeah, and then Super Bowl 75 will be the next big one. Wonder who'll be in Super Bowl 75.
They're all big, Corn.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fact that it's the round number thing. It's the half-century one. Anyway, I was there for number one, and I'll watch number 50. Did you watch number 1?
I did not.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah, I missed that one.
It was quite a good win for the Packers. We won number 1 and number 2. Here is Ron Rivera updating us on his team.
You weren't overly concerned at what Seattle was able to do in the second half. You got another good quarterback coming in here with a Hall of Fame receiver and a very good receiving core. What do you guys have to be better at in the secondary this week?
Well, I think part of it is not just what do we have to do in the secondary, but what we have to do with rush as well. I think a lot of people want to point to certain things. Well, I point to the fact that we've won all those games. And again, we've just got to make sure we do our jobs more so than anything else, Jonathan. It's hard to sit here and say, it's one thing or the other, because it really isn't just this one specific thing. When you break the tape down and look at things that happen, you can point to different things. So again, we just got to make sure we're on our game.
Gerald lines up in the slot about 60% of the time. That's going to mean a lot of Cortland. What does he have to do as a guy who's a lot smaller than Larry against him?
Well, I think again we've got to be physical with him, and we got to use our technique. If you have leverage, you got to be on the outside, and he's got to be the outside. If he's got to be on the inside, he's got to be the inside. Just understanding and doing the techniques more so than anything else. Because again, a lot of things that we do, you can get help, and that's the thing that's important.
An elite quarterback and what it takes to get to that status. I mean, do you think he's elite, and how do you describe an elite quarterback?
Well, again, I think each quarterback has their own characteristics and their own way of doing things. I mean, Tom Brady's elite for what he does and the way he does it. You can say the same thing about, Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers and right down the line of guys. For what Cam does and the way we use him and the way he does things, that makes him special, makes him elite, I think. As to talking about, could you take Cam and put him into what Tom Brady does? Probably not. But could you take Tom and put him in what Cam does? Probably not. So I think, again, for what we do and how we use him, I think he fits us very, very well.
Ron, how important will pressure on the quarterback be? How critical is that in this game, both sides of the football?
Well, I think it's going to be very important. I mean, because again, the quarterback's going to have to make quick decisions, or we're going to have to try and make plays on the move. I mean, when you get a chance to break down, what happened for Arizona against Green Bay, I thought Green Bay did some nice things, and I thought Green Bay's pressure was disruptive and did some things to disrupt what they were trying to do as far as trying to get the ball downfield, as far as trying to run certain combinations, as far as their routes were concerned. Pressure is important.
And of course, offensively speaking, with all the blitzing they do, how big is blitz pickup, not just from the line this week, but everybody?
Well, everybody's got to be involved, and it's not just about picking it up, but also understanding, if you're the hot receiver or you're the receiver that's going to continue to run your route, because if we pick it up, there's a chance for a big play. And that's the thing about blitzing. You can live or die with it. And if we're doing our job and doing some things pretty well, we have opportunity to make plays.
Fonzie give you a little advantage in some of those areas that Cameron wouldn't?
Yes. I think because Fonzie understands the protections very, very nicely. Cameron's, still a little bit of a work in progress, although he does a nice job. And believe me, one thing Cameron is not, he's willing to stick his face in the mix. I mean, he's a smart young man who's learned a lot, but he's not quite where Fonzie is in terms of ability, of understanding how to do everything.
Not to be the weather beat guy, but what are the plans for tomorrow with the snow and ice?
Well, we're going to adjust to it. I mean, as we get in and we see what's happening, we could move things up or move things back. But we're just going to adjust to whatever happens, because again, we could play in this type of weather on Sunday. If the front, from my understanding, slows down a little bit and lingers, there's a chance that it could end up being around for game time. So we've got to prepare for it, and if we got to go out and practice in it, we'll practice in it. And again, as we prepare, it's kind of nice because, I mean, being able to be at home, first of all, and play on, in our stadium. I mean, we're undefeated here so far this year. I mean, we're 9-0, and it's a good sense for us because of the crowd. The crowd's been, in our favor, obviously, and they've done a great job. So, whatever the weather is and stuff, we'll have to handle.
Okay, Ron Rivera of the Panthers talking about coming up against the Cardinals here on Sunday evening. Hopefully the weather will be moved out by Sunday evening. But you know what? We're going to waste all that, whatever sunlight we might have on Sunday, because they're not kicking off till 6:40. Mm-hmm. So if it's still kind of crummy, it's going to be even colder at night.
That's a break for the call and get a later kickoff, so it's more in their time zone.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll be back, 800-956-7266. Hey, you want more from your college education? Palmetto College offers the quality of a 4-year education online. To find out more, visit palmettocollege.sc.edu. With Palmetto College, your future has no limits. What's happening with the USC women?
The USC women, they were up 20-12 at last check. I don't have the ticker in front of me right now, but they were winning 20-12 over the Auburn Tigers at last check, a game that they should be able to handle. Auburn, unranked.
All right, another recruiting note coming on the Twitter wire from Alan Cater, defensive end from Kennesaw, Georgia, who was scheduled to visit USC this weekend, but he has just tweeted out, quote, "Due to certain circumstances, I will not be visiting South Carolina this weekend. I will not be taking any interviews on this matter tonight. Also, thank you, Gamecock Nation, for all the support. God bless." So all we know is he's not visiting South Carolina this weekend. And he has been to Arkansas, he's been to Indiana, and he's been to North Carolina. And so South Carolina was going to be, I think, his final visit. Don't know that he had one scheduled for the last weekend. Don't have a clue as to what this kind of cryptic message means. Does it mean he's no longer involved with South Carolina, or just not taking the visit this weekend? 6'5", 240 defensive end out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Good size. Was committed to Indiana back in December. You know, if you just it's like the weather. Recruiting is like the weather. Just give it a few minutes and it will certainly change. There is no there's nothing set in stone with this stuff until they actually sign the paper. So
here's an interesting note.
Okay.
They're doing Carolina calls with Frank Martin tonight.
Okay.
Guess who showed up?
Steve Spurrier?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No.
You saw that? Yeah. Steven and Jerry Spurrier showed up.
Just popped in?
Yeah.
He can't stay away from the microphones. Did he go on the air?
Don't know if he has gone on the air.
Yeah. Can't stay away from the limelight. Hey, Frank, just want to tell you guys having a great year. We're following you. We're out there supporting you. And the women. Let's don't forget the women. Let's make way for Mandy. Y'all make room for Mandy now. He always looked out for the female TV reporters when we would have our gaggle. Could not block the female TV reporters from getting their little spot for him. 800-956-7266 is our phone number here on Sports Talk. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. What's been on Twitter today besides all the recruiting stuff?
A lot of recruiting stuff. Almost everything on the recruiting Twitter feed right now is recruiting related, as you might imagine. And there were some,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of
drives everything this time of year. Yeah.
Here in late January now that we've entered that portion. But yeah, it looked like a lot of fun trying to track down the Spurs up earlier today.
Yeah. Well, you know, I thought as I was going through the board trying to figure out, and I texted a number of guys, and came back no. I thought the possibility was Michael McDaniel, defensive end from Georgia, from Loganville, Georgia, because he's a strong South Carolina lean. He's scheduled to visit next weekend. He's really not looking at anybody else. And his mother told me that they were expecting Muschamp down there today or tomorrow. So just trying to put the pieces together without reaching the kid or his coach. That's who I thought it might be. But J.C. Sherbert tracked it down and got the right guy, Robert, the tight end from Atlanta. What's his name? I already forgot his name. Robert Tucker, yes. How quickly, once they commit, we put them to bed and forget about them. Back to the phones we go. Billy in Greenville, welcome into Sports Talk tonight. How you doing?
Yeah, I just had to take a break from Sports Talk for a while. I bet you don't know why, do you?
Well, the only reason I could think that somebody would want to take a break is because they're in jail and couldn't reach a radio, or I mean, what other reason could there be? Been institutionalized and they wouldn't let you near anything that's electric?
I was a diehard South Carolina fan, and just the thought of Clemson winning the national championship was just frightening.
Drove you away, huh? It just drove you away. You know, I think there were a lot of Gamecock fans who couldn't stand to listen to sports talk radio from late December on through the first couple of weeks of January because it was dominated by Clemson around here.
And the scary thing about it, you got to give credit to what credit is due. They look like to be really good again next year. So, you know, so it is what it is, right?
I'm not even going to sit here and mention the players they're losing on the back end of their defense because we did that all of last off season through the summer, and we were told they'd be fine, and they certainly turned out to be fine and better than fine. So the good recruiting they've done the last couple of years and stockpiling players and building up that talent, when they lose guys, they have good players to stick right back in there. But number 4 is back on the offense, and that's the key thing. We'll be right back.
33-20 Gamecocks at half.
All right, coming up on our final minutes here tonight. Check us out on our website, sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter, #STRecruiting. And, of course, on Twitter, sportstalksc.com. But for recruiting, #STRecruiting. And we'll be checking on a number of things tonight, trying to get more on Alan Cater and what's going on with him. Checking on USC's in-home with Kyle Pollard. Get the latest on that, we hope. Try and do an update on John Simpson for you, see who got in there today, maybe some in-homes with him. Also, we'll have a story up a little bit later on the junior college running back who is looking at South Carolina. That is, now I've got to look him up. I've had so many different names come through me here. Let's see if I can find him real quick. Yeah, Justin Crawford, running back out of Northwest Mississippi. Got some news on him that we'll be putting out there a little bit later on. So you want to check the website and the Twitter feed. As Corn continues to work through the night, and K-Mac, you'll be working through the night as well? Or shoveling snow?
Yeah, no, I will not be working through the night on recruiting. I'll be following it. I'll be following
Do you actually
all the fun and excitement.
You hang in, you live and die with each of our recruiting tweets?
I do. I look for the ST recruiting as much as I can.
You sound extremely excited about it.
I can hardly contain myself.
The Career Builder Challenge in partnership with the Clinton Foundation. That's the name of the golf tournament at PGA West Stadium Course, La Quinta, California. Make sure they pay you in cash if it's coming from the Clinton Foundation. Jerry Kelly is your leader. No, I'm take that back. Jerry Kelly. Oh, there's a four-way tie for the lead. Jerry Kelly, Jason Duffner, Jeff Overton, and Arbarn Lahiri. They all shot 64 today. 8 under par. Colt Knost, 7 under 65. Jamie Lovemark, a 7 under 65. Lucas Glover, a 66. Ricky Barnes, a 66. Ben Martin, a 66. Bill Haas, a 66. Matt Kuchar, a 67. You know, did the golf season ever end?
No.
I mean, really, I don't like this.
Tiger's still hurt.
Yeah. I mean, they used to, you know, when they played the PGA championship, they were pretty much done. We didn't hear anything more from the golf circuit until January. But now they got this, you know, these different seasons. Yeah, I guess these guys like playing all year long. They play in after the PGA for the most part, except for the FedEx playoffs. And then once they're out of that, they're done for a while. Anyway, we're done for now. Any final thoughts, K-Mac?
Charleston is up 36-34 late in the second half. That's right, 36-34 with about a minute to play in the second half.
Playing at Towson?
Towson.
Okay.
That is a low-scoring game.
That's a league game for them, too. All right, that'll do it. Thank you, LB. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.